Hey YouTube, my name is Addison396 and in this week's video I'm going to be using the Elgato Stream Deck whilst playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So what is the Elgato Stream Deck? Essentially, it's a customizable USB powered 15 key control pad. Its main use is for streamers who use it for switching scenes, launching media, adjusting audio, checking current viewers, triggering tweets and chat commands, and a bunch of things that you'd usually have to Alt-Tab away from your game to do. But the Stream Deck can be used for a variety of tasks. These include shortcut keys for all those easily forgettable Premiere Pro / Vegas tasks, a bookmark bar for web browsing, or as you'll see in today's video, hotkeys in your favourite games. So how does it work? Firstly, you need to connect the deck via USB to your PC. Elgato's Quick Start Guide warns you not to use USB hubs and to plug it directly into your PC's USB slot, but to be honest, I've used it in a hub for about 3 to 4 months with no problems, so your mileage may vary on that one. Secondly, download and install the Stream Deck app, that can be found in the description down below. Thirdly, you need to launch the app and start customizing, that's where it gets fun. So the customization of the Stream Deck is super easy and intuitive. On the left you see the current layout of the Stream Deck, and on the right you can see the options for you to choose from. You drag and drop the options from the right onto the Stream Deck on the left, and can then configure the action and personalize the key with custom icons. Let's take a quick look at an example to better illustrate what I mean by configure the action. So what I'm going to do here is set this running man icon as the custom icon, and then I will name it, and then here I'm going to hit equals, which on my keyboard is plus, it's an American keyboard. But it essentially means that when I hit this key, it will activate the hotkey for auto sprint in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. You can also create folders by either right clicking on an empty button or by dragging one option over another and holding it there for a second or two. You can right click on the keys to modify, copy, paste, delete or reset the keys. And there are a few setting options if you click on the settings cog here, like linking your social media account, adjusting the deck's brightness, and saving / loading in deck layout presets. Here is my current setup, though I do have some presets saved specifically for editing and certain games that I don't play that often, like Elite Dangerous. Speaking of the Stream Deck and gaming, how does it work with games? And in particular in this video, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Let's jump in and take a look at how it works. So this is my current setup for playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. As you can see across the top I have my healing items, they're pretty self-explanatory. I hit the button, it's linked to the hotkey that uses the item shown on the picture. On the row below, let's go left to right, the first button is labelled driver seat. So sometimes in the heat of the moment when I'm trying to get inside a vehicle, you can accidentally jump into the wrong seat quite easily. I've done this a few times and I've had to panic find Control 1, which is the hotkey combo for jumping into the driver's seat. Now, I do know this combo of keys, but I find it hard to press and then reset back very quickly to WASD. So having the button on the Stream Deck easily labelled is super handy. I've now trained myself to be prepared to press this button when entering vehicles, and I've not had a problem since. Push to talk is the next one, super self-explanatory. Quick note here though, Elgato recently updated the Stream Deck to allow buttons to be held down instead of just pressed. They've been really good at updating the software so far, so keep it up Elgato, GG. Next up we have these arrows, they're for zeroing the scope up and down, because who wants to find the page up and page down keys, and in my case these buttons are located all the way over on the right of my keyboard in a really awkward place. So again the Stream Deck makes this super easy, especially when playing in the dark without a backlit keyboard. You can do okay with the basic / most used keys, but I'll be damned if I'm going to find page up and page down in the dark when I need to zero my scope in super fast. The grenade key is next, pretty self-explanatory right? Let's move on to the bottom row now. So the first logo you see here is the logo for OBS, Open Broadcasting Software. This is the software I use to stream and record my games. I have this button set to Alt-Tab, which swaps to the last window that you had up, and in my case this will always be OBS whilst gaming. Up next we have View. This just changes the view between first and third person. I'm finding that I hardly use this button, so if you play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and can think of something that I should replace it with, leave a suggestion down in the comments below. Next one along is Next Weapon. I think this is originally set to the mouse scroll wheel, but I find it pretty hard not to scroll past the weapon I'm actually wanting to select. So while I don't use this often, it's super handy when I do need to use it. Map, again, M, not really needed, I do know the hotkey, but to be honest, it looks pretty cool, and it's kind of handy there. And finally we have the running man. This is the equals key that allows you to run without holding down the shift key constantly. This button I find super handy. I also moved it from the middle of my deck to the lower right, as I can fairly easily hit this button whilst keeping my hand on the mouse with my mouse hand thumb. So that wraps up my current layout for my Stream Deck. Before we move on to the final notes about this product, let me know what you think to my current layout in the comments below. How do you think it could be improved? And if any of you watching have a Stream Deck and are currently using it, let me know what layout you use. Maybe write your layout from right to left, top to bottom. That would be super interesting to see what you guys are using. So yes, of course, you can memorize all these keys individually, but in the heat of the moment, it's a lot easier to look at and press a button on the Stream Deck instead of spamming buttons, especially when you're first starting out in a game or are new to PC gaming. I've also seen players who are not new to this game open up their inventory to use things like healing items. I'm guessing they know which buttons to hit, but they do it this way to make sure that they hit the right one. When using the Stream Deck, there is no way I can hit the first aid kit when I want to hit the med kit, but I also don't have to fill my screen with my inventory, which gives me a slight advantage over people who are doing what I just said. That's exactly what the Stream Deck is great at, making things easier. Elgato, if you're listening, you can have that one for free. Elgato Stream Deck, making things easier. There's a few notes for Elgato and some improvements. I'd really love it if you could allow folders in folders. So at the moment you are limited to folders only being allowed on that first initial screen. You can't add a folder within a folder. I don't know if this is due to the possible memory constraints of the hardware. I don't know. And believe it or not, I've actually filled up my deck quite a few times before. I've got multiple layouts saved that I have to import, and whilst it's not too annoying, it is slightly. So if possible, Elgato, please update the software to allow this. That would be amazing. Also, if you could create a place on your website to showcase and download layouts, it would be awesome if I could share this PLAYERUNKNOWN'S BATTLEGROUNDS Stream Deck layout easily with others. This would benefit both Elgato by driving more users to their site, and Elgato could also require users to sign in to share and download layouts. And they would gain the benefits of having profiles on their site like user data or allowing advertising via emails that you signed up with, etc, etc. It would also benefit the users no end by saving them lots of time by downloading layouts instead of creating their own. There are also other benefits, like for example inspiration. Users could be inspired by a layout that has a cool idea that they may have never thought of. And speaking of sharing layouts, I'll also upload the file that you can generate that enables you to import layouts to some file hosting site, which you can find down in the description below. That way if you have a Stream Deck and you want to use it to play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, you should be able to download it and use it for yourself. So it's time to wrap up this video. I'm sure I don't need to explain to the vast majority of you that this is not a review of the Stream Deck, and it's not even an overview of what the Stream Deck is actually intended for, but hopefully this video is still interesting and useful, especially to those of you who are thinking about buying a Stream Deck at some point and are wondering what its uses are outside of streaming. If you did find this video entertaining or informative, you know what to do. Hit that like button, share it with a mate who may find it useful, leave a comment down below with your thoughts. Next week's video will be a short one on the pros and cons of the new update to YouTube, as voted for by my Twitter followers. I may actually upload a second video next week, as I'm not too sure how long that video will be without padding it out, and obviously that's something I don't really want to do. But I'll let you guys know on Twitter, so if you don't already, follow me there, at Addison396. I actually recently hit 1,000 followers, so massive thank you to any of you guys who have already followed. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your weekend, guys, what's left of it, and I'll see you guys next week.